This noontime concert is part of WWFM's Celebrating Our Musical Community series and is made possible in part by underwriting from Bay Area friends of WWFM and by a grant from the Edward T. Cohn Foundation. Good afternoon to you. I'm Ross Samlico, and I'll be your host for another concert from Gotham Early Music Scene. Gotham Early Music Scene is a nonprofit corporation that supports and promotes artists and organizations in New York City devoted to early music, music of the Middle Ages, Renaissance, Baroque, and early classical periods. For more information and GEM's complete events calendar, you can look online at gemsny.org. Today's concert will focus on a program presented in October of last year at St. Bartholomew's Church, 50th Street and Park Avenue in Midtown Manhattan, and will feature Brooklyn Baroque, in a program largely devoted to Barbara Strozzi. In fact, the program is called Barbara Strozzi and Her World. Barbara Strozzi lived from 1619 to 1677, a significant anomaly in an art form that, until the 20th century, did not exactly nurture women. She was a singer, but also a composer, and more astonishingly, she appears to have been recognized for it. Strozzi was adopted and possibly the biological daughter of Giulio Strozzi. Strozzi also became her adopted father. Giulio was one of the driving forces behind the propulsive growth of opera in Venice in the first half of the 17th century. He was a poet and librettist, a regular collaborator of Claudio Monteverdi and others. He was also unusually supportive of his daughter's talent, arranging for her studies with Francesco Cavalli, and even founding an academy for its display in order to help legitimize it in the eyes of the public. Barbara's music was published, and it's thought that later in life she was able to support herself by means of her investments and compositions. It was also rumored that she bolstered her income as a courtesan, but whether this was a fabrication of her jealous rivals, largely male of course, or the truth, it's hard to tell. Many important details of her life have been fleshed out by hearsay and conjecture. After all, she lived 400 years ago, and society hasn't been particularly attentive to its female artists. We will be listening to music of Barbara Strozzi. In our first set, we have three original works of hers. The first is called Merci de Voix, and that is her first published opus, actually, a duet for sopranos in which she addresses her audience and posterity, envisioning herself as a poet crowned with a laurel leaf and comparing herself to a new Sappho, so a work full of self-confidence. The second piece is L'amante segreto, or The Secret Lover, a proclamation of forbidden and most likely unrequited love. And the third piece is called Begli occhi, or Beautiful Eyes. The first is a text of her father, the poet and librettist Giulio Strozzi. The second, an anonymous text. And the third is after a text of Giovanni Francesco Loredano. Here's music by Barbara Strozzi, performed by Brooklyn Baroque, Linda Lee Jones and Marguerite Krull, sopranos, David Bakamjian, cello, and Rebecca Pechefsky, harpsichord.
Oh
We've just heard three selections by the 17th century Italian composer Barbara Strozzi. And they were performed here by Brooklyn Baroque, Linda Lee Jones and Marguerite Krull, sopranos, David Bakamjian, cello, and Rebecca Pechefsky, harpsichord. Part of a concert called Barbara Strozzi and Her World. It was presented on October 26, 2017 at St. Bartholomew's Church, 50th Street and Park Avenue in Midtown Manhattan, where free concerts are held every Thursday at 1:15 p.m. The 2017-2018 season will conclude on June 28th. This Thursday, Empire Viols will present Strictly Organic, transcriptions of organ trios by J.S. Bach and J.L. Krebs. For a complete schedule of lunchtime performances, you can look online at midtownconcerts.org. These programs appear under the agency of Gotham Early Music Scene, or GEMS, a nonprofit corporation that supports and promotes artists and organizations in New York City devoted to early music, music of the Middle Ages, Renaissance, Baroque, and early classical periods. For more information and GEMS complete events calendar, you can look online at gemsny.org. Brooklyn Baroque was founded in the year 2000. Linda Lee Jones is a New Orleans native. She's active as a soprano, teacher, and massage therapist in New York City and Central New Jersey. She's appeared with the choirs of Trinity Wall Street Church, Musica Sacra, the New York Choral Artists, St. Ignatius Loyola Church, and the Mostly Mozart Festival, along with some of the world's finest orchestras and conductors. She holds a Master of Music degree in choral conducting and voice from Westminster Choir College of Rider University. Marguerite Krull has established an outstanding reputation as a principal artist with many of the world's leading opera houses, including Lyric Opera of Chicago, Washington Opera, New York City Opera, Glimmerglass Opera, the Caramore Festival, the Teatro Colón in Buenos Aires, Opera de Quebec, as well as opera companies of Lausanne, Bordeaux, Leipzig, and Madrid. Krull has also been a soloist with the New York Philharmonic, National Symphony Orchestra, the American Bach Soloists, the Richmond Symphony in Richmond, Indiana, Voices of Ascension, the Bethlehem Bach Choir, the San Francisco Bach Choir, the Buffalo Philharmonic, the Orlando Philharmonic, and the New York Collegium. The cellist David Bakamjian appears regularly as a recitalist, chamber player, and recording artist. He has played at New York's premier concert halls, including Carnegie Hall, on period and modern instruments. He's also appeared on National Public Radio and WQXR. He is, perhaps of local interest anyway. He taught cello and chamber music at Lehigh University in Bethlehem for 8 years. He holds a BA from Yale University and his doctorate from the State University of New York at Stony Brook. His newest recording with the Brooklyn Baroque is a program of Bois Mortier sonatas for cello. Rebecca Pechefsky is co-founder of Brooklyn Baroque with David Bakamjian. The two founded the Ensemble in the year 2000. She is a well-known harpsichordist in the New York area. She's appeared at Carnegie's Weill Recital Hall, Merkin Hall, and the 18th century Morris Jumel Mansion, where she and her ensemble Brooklyn Baroque perform a yearly series. She records for Quill Classics, including the complete harpsichord music of Francois d'Agincourt, Bach and His Circle, which was an award winner for Best Classical Solo Album, won a JPF Music Award. Bach's Well-Tempered Clavier, Book 1, was praised in fanfare as excellent to the highest degree, and she also has an album of music by Johann Ludwig Krebs, pupil of Bach, called Johann Ludwig Krebs at 300. With her husband, Eric Riding, she co-authored a book on Bruno Walter. It's called Bruno Walter, A World Elsewhere. You can find out more about her and Brooklyn Baroque at her website, RebeccaPechefsky.com. That's Pechefsky, RebeccaPechefsky.com. Let's continue with this noontime concert and Barbara Strozzi and Her World by turning next to Domenico Gabrielli. Domenico Gabrielli was an outstanding cellist, an early virtuoso on the instrument. He lived from 1659 to 1690. We have for you this afternoon a sonata in G major for cello and continuo. The cellist, of course, is David Bakamjian. David Bakamjian, the co-founder of this ensemble. And the harpsichordist, the other co-founder, Rebecca Pechefsky. It's music of Domenico Gabrielli. That was music by the early cello virtuoso Domenico Gabrielli, who lived from 1659 to 1690. His Sonata in G major for cello and continuo, performed here by cellist David Bakamjian and harpsichordist Rebecca Pechefsky. They are co-founders of the Ensemble Brooklyn Baroque. They've been playing together since at least the year 2000. Part of today's noontime concert that took place on October 26th of last year at St. Bartholomew's Church, 50th Street and Park Avenue in Midtown Manhattan, where free concerts are held every Thursday at 1:15 p.m. Well, we'll be listening to more music of Barbara Strozzi now. The program, after all, is called Barbara Strozzi and Her World. Barbara Strozzi lived from 1619 to 1677, experiencing extraordinary success for a woman composer. And we have two concluding selections right now. And the first is called Lagrime mie lamento, or My Tears Lament. The text speaks in first person about a man whose love interest has been locked away from him. He's in so much pain and depression that his tears are gone and refuse to flow in order to release his pain. Of course, he wishes for death. The text is by Pietro Dolfino. And the second selection, and our final selection on today's concert, is called I baci, or The Kisses. Oh, sweet, enticing, oh, adored kisses, souls unite to meet upon lips. With a kiss, souls wound hearts deeply. Wantonly, they merge like vipers, they bite each other, but in their sweetest fury is a deep union of hearts. Oh, sweet, enticing, oh, adored kisses, kiss my mouth and be silent. An anonymous text set by Barbara Strozzi. Here are these two selections, My Tears Lament and The Kisses, performed by Brooklyn Baroque, Linda Lee Jones and Marguerite Krull, sopranos, David Bakamjian, cello, and Rebecca Pechefsky, harpsichord. And we have heard two selections performed here by Brooklyn Baroque, and they were both by Barbara Strozzi, who was the focus of our program this afternoon. The first was Lagrime mie lamento, a cantata. Title translates to My Tears Lament, after a text of Pietro Dolfino. And finally we heard I baci, or The Kisses, on an anonymous text. Brooklyn Baroque, Linda Lee Jones and Marguerite Krull, sopranos, David Bakamjian, cello, and Rebecca Pechefsky, harpsichord. Barbara Strozzi and Her World was the name of the concert. It was presented under the umbrella of Gotham Early Music Scene, or GEMS. Program presented on October 26, 2017 at St. Bartholomew's Church, 50th Street and Park Avenue in Midtown Manhattan, where free concerts are held every Thursday at 1:15 p.m. The 2017-2018 season will conclude on June 28th. This Thursday, Empire Viols will present Strictly Organic, transcriptions of organ trios by J.S. Bach and J.L. Krebs. For a complete schedule of lunchtime performances, you can look online at midtownconcerts.org. GEMS also hosts evening concerts. The Ensemble Voices will present Angels Cry Aloud, masters of the Roman Collegio Germanico, featuring music by Victoria Carissime and Charpentier at Trinity Lutheran Church, 309 St. Paul's Avenue on Staten Island, tonight at 7:30 p.m. Artec will present Madrigal Madness, highlighting the work of Monteverdi at 17 Frost Gallery, 17 Frost Street, Williamsburg, Brooklyn, Friday at 7:30 p.m. And Angelica Women's Chamber Choir will present Sanctuary, a program that seeks refuge from life's turbulence, with repertoire ranging from the Middle Ages to the present, at the Church of St. John of Nepomucene, 411 East 66th Street, New York City. That's on Sunday at 3 p.m. Gotham Early Music Scene is a nonprofit corporation that supports and promotes artists and organizations in New York City devoted to early music, music of the Middle Ages, Renaissance, Baroque, and early classical periods. For more information and GEMS events calendar, you can look online at gemsny.org. I'm Ross Amico. Thanks very much for joining me for today's noontime concert. It's brought to you courtesy of your member dollars. If you haven't supported us yet here at the Classical Network, you may do so at any time at WWFM.org. Thank you as always for joining me. I hope you'll stay tuned. We've got more great music coming up.